What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another new podcast. I hope you guys are ready today because I got some wild clips and I didn't even know what to put in the thumbnail, the title, because they all could have went in there. We got women that are delusional. We got women that are manipulative, and we got ones that are just flat out allergic to accountability. So I hope you guys are strapped in because I'm going to break it down for you. But before we do, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like the video, but let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it.
Reasons why I don't date models. Hi, I'm Gabby Faye and I am a plus size model. I cannot stand these little male models out here because have you ever gone out with a guy who is obsessed with themselves? Like they might as well have been going on a date with their mirror because they're always looking at the reflection in their phone. Every time we walk past something, they got to look back at it themselves, not somebody else, not me. Male models know they look good and they act like they look good, and also a lot of them be so broke because they're spending their money on designers when you already work for the designer. Like, you know, get the free stuff and stop trying to flex with what you're doing because it's not cute.
Sir, I don't know why you insist on using Al Gore's internet to tell these kinds of lies. You are a solid 4 talking about dating models. What are they modeling? Diabetes? You're gonna have to prove it to us. We need sources cited for your material, MLA or APA, because otherwise we're not buying it. And then has the nerve to call them broke. I did a reaction video on her before and she said she didn't have a car, so she needed a man to send her an Uber so she can get to the date. A grown woman who is handling her business is at least going to be able to get herself to the date, even if she wants a man to pay for the date, but you can't do either. So how are you calling somebody else broke? And maybe they're paying attention to themselves because they can't stand the sight of you and your attitude, because the way you show up is ugly, and that has nothing to do with your physical attributes as opposed to what it has to do with your insides. We can all see that. So you can continue to get on here and tell these kind of bullshit lies, but I promise you, we see right through all of them.
Trying to control what I ate and me changing my eating habits. People, a couple of my friends knew. They were COVID.
Sorry, he did that?
Okay. Yeah, it was.
That's hilarious. I never once cared about what you ate. What are you talking about?
I stopped eating. I was eating like a banana and a teaspoon of peanut butter just so I wouldn't like pass out on the long days we were filming. The cutie story that didn't make the cut was one day, it was like 2 p.m. we were still filming. I hadn't had a chance to eat, so I grabbed 2 cuties, like little tiny oranges that fit in the palm of your hand. And he looked at me and he goes, "Are you gonna eat both of those?" And I said, "Well, like, yeah, that's a serving." And he goes, "Well, we're going out to eat later, like maybe you should save your appetite."
Oh my God. I cannot believe that you would say that. Peeling oranges? Are you about to eat 2 of those?
Maybe, that's a serving. You okay with that?
You better save your appetito.
I've only had a banana
Talking
and a
like-
scoop of peanut butter today.
Big homes tonight.
So,
You only had a banana today? Why?
oh, I could
I offered
definitely
you
tell
a
you, but I
poke
probably
bowl.
shouldn't. I know you did, but we had that last night.
Oh, are you getting a wedding dress?
Something like that.
Wedding dress bod?
I promise you, the full episode is much worse than what you're seeing in this clip. But I went ahead and included some timestamps so you can watch the segments that are related to these two. And if you just so happen to have time to watch the full season, or at least some episodes during the season, you will see a masterclass on everything that is wrong with modern dating, from modern women to simping to women hitting the wall and overestimating their value. It is all there, and I promise you it is eye-opening. But let's talk about this reunion, because this woman here is one of the most manipulative, and insecure women that I have seen on any kind of dating show experiment. She put this man through hell, and while he was not perfect and he made his mistakes, you could tell that he had a genuine, honest intention when it came to dating her, but she put up all of these walls so he couldn't get through. And the reunion was just disgusting because she turned all of her female friends against him with lies. And I am so glad that they included that story at the end, because she tried to make it seem like he thought she was fat and he was controlling her diet and didn't want her to eat, when the whole time he was trying to be supportive and he even offered her food. But this just goes to show you how modern women will manipulate not just you, but their friends. They had so much hate and vitriol in their heart for this man, and they even turned one of the guys against him. And it just goes to show you how men get talked about and we never get the benefit of the doubt. All it takes is a woman to say, this happened, he treated me like that, and automatically they will believe everything that she says. And this happens so much in the real world. So how many of these situations where women say, oh, I was done wrong, he did that, he was a narcissist, how much of that is actually true? How much of that is actually someone not being able to take accountability or being so delusional that they can't see what's happening in front of them?
I couldn't leave her today. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was from lack of sleep.
You know, it always tickles me when someone asks me if I'm okay because I seem distracted or disengaged. So let's stop asking working moms if they're okay.
Done.
We grow a human being inside of us for 9 months. Our bodies and souls are connected to another human being. Bam, they're here. Bam, we go back to work 6 to 12 weeks later. Bam, you have less than 4 hours a day with them, which is usually hurried or rushed. Bam, you're sitting at your desk for 8 hours. We all know we can do our jobs probably between the hours of 9 and 2. But a long time ago, a white man who was a bully and had no soul and hated his family decided 8 to 5 sounds good.
Bam, you're lying for multiple reasons. Let's not forget, it was a woman's choice to leave the home and seek employment, justifiable reasons or not. And because choices have consequences, we now live in a society where the average man can't make a woman a housewife like he used to be able to back in the 1950s. And she also mentions that it's a white man with no soul and who hated his family that's responsible for the 8 to 5 workday.
How about no?
Let's take a look at that, because clearly you don't know your history. So I pulled up some information for you. The history of the 40-hour work week. Let's go to 1817. It says, after the Industrial Revolution, activists and labor union groups advocated for better working conditions. People were working 80 to 100-hour weeks during this time. Feminism was not telling women to go out and get jobs at this point. Let's skip down to 1926. Henry Ford popularized the 40-hour work week after he discovered through his research that working more yielded only a small increase in productivity that lasted a short period of time. 1938, Congress passed the Fair Labor Standards Act, which required employers to pay overtime to all employees who worked more than 44 hours a week. They amended the act 2 years later to reduce the work week to 40 hours. 1940, the 40-hour work week became the U.S. law. So yes, it is a white man that's responsible for your 8 to 5 40-hour work week. His name is Henry Ford, and you should be thanking him. Otherwise, you'd be working a 16-hour day. But I have a feeling feminists would not have been calling for equality under those conditions. Conditions that men made easier for themselves, only for women to turn around and make it easier to leave and break up the nuclear family. But we're seeing the consequences and women are not liking it. And let's take a look at another group of women who have shunned the traditional family, and let's see where that's gotten them.
They don't care about us.
For more than a decade, most of these ladies made Beacon Ridge apartments their home.
Yeah, I ain't got nowhere to go. But they just don't care.
But now these Section 8 residents are being forced to find another place to live and have not been told why.
How they just gonna put us out like that? They ain't said why we got to move. I ain't did nothing. I ain't did a thing.
Several residents received notices on Monday telling them that regardless of when their lease is up, they are required to surrender the premises to management on or before January 31st of next year, and that failure to do so will result in legal action.
So I'm just really concerned about that, and so they hadn't gave us but 60 days to move.
How you gonna find a place to move and they getting your best date in January?
So Atlanta News First went to the leasing office to find out why they're evicting Section 8 residents. But they locked the door and never called us to explain.
There's a lot of us out here that ain't got nowhere to go. And then it's hard to find Section 8.
This is a sad situation, but this is the result of choosing the government as your husband and shunning the traditional family. And because they've been on Section 8 for 10 years, they don't have any relevant work experience to secure a job that's going to put a roof over their head. Remember, you have to make 3 times the rent. And I see this situation playing out over and over again. So is the single independent woman that doesn't need a man faring well, especially the ones that have had their hands out for 10 years relying on the government? And I'm not saying that they should have went out and gotten husbands, but they should have at least in those 10 years done something to build themselves up so that they don't have to rely on the government. Y'all don't want to rely on a man, but y'all are okay relying on the government. Why? Because they're faceless and they don't tell you what to do, except when they do tell you what to do and you have to get out and live in the streets now. It's gonna be a tough go for these women, and I'm telling you, this is a losing strategy, but we have promoted it to the destruction of our own communities. But that's gonna do it for this video. So, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you guys have anything to say, please leave it in the comments below. And until another time, I'll see you guys later.